Hello students, today we will do sums on black and school model. We have done sums on binomial model already. Binomial model follows binomial distribution and black and school model follows normal distribution. The formulas for black and school's model are given here. It can find the value of a call option. In binomial model, it was possible to find only the value of call option, but in black and school's model, we can find value of call as well as put option. So call option value C is equals to S naught into N D1 minus E into E raised to minus RT into N D2. This is the formula. So first we have to find the values of D1 and D2. D1 is natural log, that is Ln, into S naught divided by E plus R plus into bracket R plus 0.5 into standard deviation square bracket complete multiplied by T, that's the time, the whole divided by standard deviation into root T. For D2 also you have a lengthy formula, or there is also a shortcut formula. If you have the value of D1, you can say D2 is equals to D1 minus standard deviation into square root of N, or this square root of T, it's time period actually. Ln is natural log, standard deviation and time period, and the value for put option is here. So let's begin with the sums. Following is the information available for a share and a call option on that share. So the price of the share S naught is 150, exercise price is 140, time to expiration is 6 months. They have given you variance, that is standard deviation square, or variance is 0.49. Risk-free rate of return is 10%. They've asked you to compute the value of the call option using Black and Scholes model. Now this risk-free return is continuously compounded, so I'm not going to convert it again. You can just write down here continuously compounded risk-free rate of return. So we don't want variance, we need the standard deviation. So what we basically do is, standard deviation is square root of variance. So standard deviation is square root of 0.49, you get standard deviation of 0.7. And all other things are as it is. So we'll find value of dn. D1 is equals to natural log of S naught by E. S naught is 150 divided by E is 140 plus R. R is the rate of interest, that is 0.1, 10%, that is 0.1 plus 0.5 into standard deviation square, so 0.7 square bracket complete into time, that is 6 by 12. The whole divided by 0.7, that is the standard deviation, into square root of time, that is 6 by 12. So first we'll solve this. 150 divided by 140, you get 1.0714 plus we'll multiply this. 0.7 square is 0.49 into 0.5 you get 0.245, and 6 by 12 is 0.5, the whole divided by the values. So now find the natural log of 1.074, you get 0.0689. Add these two and multiply with 0.5, you get 0.1725. The whole divided by 0.7 into square root of the time, that is 0.7071. When you add this, multiply and then divide, you get 0.2414 divided by 0.4945. The answer of D1 is 0.4877. Now let's find the value of D2. The shortcut formula I'm using, D2 is equals to D1 minus standard deviation into root T. D1 0.4877 minus standard deviation given is 0.7 into square root of time, that is 6 by 12. So if you solve it, you get it as minus 0.01 D2 value. Now we are not going to stop here. We are not just going to find D1 and D2 value. We have to find the D1 and D2. We have to find ND1 and ND2 values. What is ND1 and ND2? The D1 value we find in the normal distribution table, and we get the normal distribution value. Now whenever you find something in the normal distribution table, the normal distribution graph is divided into two parts, plus 5 minus 5. So if your answer, if your D1 is positive, we will do 0.5 plus the table value. If your answer is negative, like the D2 value minus 0.01, we'll do 0.5 minus the table value. So if the answer is positive, we go on the positive end, 0.5 plus whatever is the table value is the portion of the normal distribution graph. And if it is a negative answer, then 0.5 minus that much will give us the negative value of the graph. So let's see how to see the table value now. So I'll go back to the solution here. D1 we have got 0.4877. It is positive. So how you see the table value? This is the table. We have got 0.4877. We take only the first two digits after the decimal. So here I will see 0.4. This is 0.4. And from here I'll go to 8, 0.48. So 0.4 till 8 you have to go. That is this value, 0.1844. You can see this 0.1844. This is the table value for 0.48. So I'll go back to the solution. I'm taking only the first two digits after the decimal because table value you can see only the first two digits. So see here the table value 0.1844. That's what we had got here, 0.1844. Now this is positive, right? 0.48 is positive, so we should do 0.5 plus the table value. So ND1 is 0.5 plus 0.1844. You get 0.6844. ND2, D2 is a negative value, so we'll do 0.5 minus. Now we have to find the value of 0.01 in the table. So we go to the table, 0.0 is here and we have to go till 1. So 0.01 means it is this value. So if you could see this, 0.0040 is the value. So if I go back to the solution, 0.0040, so it's a negative value. So we do 0.5 minus 0.0040, you get 0.496. So we have got the values of ND1 and ND2. Now we can put it in the call option formula and find the value of the call option. So call option value C is equals to S0, that is 150, into ND1 0.6844 minus E, that is exercise price 140, into E raised to minus RT. So E raised to minus R is 0.10 into 6 by 12, bracket complete, into ND2, that is 0.496. So we solve it, 150 into 0.6844, you get 102.66 minus, when you find the present value, you get 133.17 into 0.496 ND2 value. So you first multiply this, you get 66.05. So 102.66 minus 66.05, the call option value is 36.61. So this was the first problem. They asked you to find the value of a call option using Black-Scholes model. Everything is based on the formulas, but you have to be very careful while solving and getting the answers for D1 and D2. Once you get the answers for D1 and D2, seeing the table value also is very crucial. If you do that correctly, you will get the values right. Let's go to the next problem. From the following data, calculate the values of call and put option using Black-Scholes model. Current price of this share is rupees 42. So this is our S0, 42. Exercise price is 40. E is 40. T, time is 6 months. So 6 by 12. They have directly given you standard deviation here. It's not standard deviation square or variance. It's directly standard deviation. So we'll directly take 0.2 as standard deviation. Continuously compounded risk-free rate of interest is 10% and dividend expected is nil. Remember in the previous sum also I told you that rate was continuously compounded. It is not written in the question, but it is continuously compounded, so you note it down. So let's solve. S0 is 42, exercise price is 40, that's what I told you here. See here, current price 42, exercise price 40, time to expiration 6 months, standard deviation 0.2 and R is 10%. So find value of D1, natural log of S naught, that is 42 divided by E 40 bracket plus R 10%, that is 0.1 plus 0.5 into standard deviation square, so 0.2 square bracket complete into time, that is 6 by 12. The whole divided by 0.2 into square root of 6 by 12. So I told you first you solve this and then you open this bracket and multiply with 6 by 12 and then add it. So in the previous sum I showed you each step by step. So you get the D1 value as 0.7687 if you solve this particular equation. Okay, just a second. Just 1 second, and this something's missing here. This sum maybe will continue in the next session of recording. So it's not complete here. Let's do the next one and we'll come back to that in the next recording. Calculate the value of a call option using Black and Scholes model. Given the following information, so current price of the share S0 243, exercise price 250, time to expiry 65 days, volatility 0.54, which is standard deviation, and risk-free rate of interest is 9%. The investor wants to buy a put option with the same price and expiry date as call option. What will be the value of a put option? So here they've asked you to find the value of a put option. So let's start. S0 is 243, E1 is 250, time is 65 days, standard deviation is 0.54 and R is 9%. So this R is not continuously compounded. See here, they've just given you R rate. So we first find the continuously compounded rate. We find the R2 value. R2 is equals to M into ln 1 plus R1 upon N. So 1, because we don't know the frequency of compounding, so we take it as 1 year. 1 into natural log of 1 plus 0.09 divided by 1. So you get the value of R2 as 8.6%. Now find the value of D1. The value of D1 is natural log of S0, that is 243 divided by E 250 plus R, which is 0.086 plus 0.5 into standard deviation 0.54 square. Close the bracket. Time is 65 days, so 65 divided by 365. The whole divided by 0.54 square root of 65 divided by 365. When you solve it, you get 0.056. In D2 value, D1 0.056 minus 0.54 into root of 65 divided by 365. D2 value you get minus 0.1718. So if you solve it here further, you have to find ND1 and ND2. So for ND1 we see the table value. Sorry, we have to find N minus D1 and N minus D2, because for put option, see the formulas. They have asked you to use N minus D2, N minus D1. So we have to find that. How do we look at that? N minus D1 means whatever is the D1 value I've got, I have to find the minus of it. So N minus 0.056. Now when I'm seeing minus 0.056, I have to take 0.5 minus. Now see for ND2, N minus 0.1718. Now D2 value was already negative. So this is minus 0.1718. Minus into minus will become plus. So N 0.1718. I hope it's clear. D1 value was positive, but we want N minus D1. So we take minus 0.056. D2 value was already negative, and again we have to take negative. So minus into minus will become plus. So that's become N 0.1718. So D2 has become positive now and D1 has become negative. Okay, so if it is negative, I'll do 0.5 minus. The table value will see it is 0.056, so 0.0, and I'll go up to 5, so that comes to 0.0199. So we go here 0.0199, so 0.5 minus 0.0199, 0.4801, and minus d2, minus into minus, I told you, becomes plus. Here it is a minus sign. So 0.17 we have to see in the table. So 0.1 here, and we have to go up to 7. So this is the value 0.0675. See here, this one. So we take this value 0.0675. So 0.5 plus 0.0675, because this has become positive now, minus into minus, here there should be a minus sign. So it's 0.5675. Now we have n minus d1, n minus d2 values. So put option value would be 250. That is, I'll show you the formula. See here, for call option we first take S naught and then take E value, exercise price. For put option it's opposite, we get E here, so it becomes plus, and S naught there, so it has become minus. So we take E first here, that's the exercise price. So exercise price 250 into E raised to minus R 0.086 into T 65 divided by 365 into N minus D2, that is 0.5675, minus S naught 243 into N minus D1, that is 0.4801. When you solve it, you get it as 23.05. So this is the value of a put option. So these were the two sums that we have done today. In the third one, I have done it incomplete. I have found the value till D1. We have to find D2 and the further values, which we will be doing in the next session. If possible, try solving it on your own and find the answer, because I have already taught you one sum, how to find the value of a call option. Similar way, D1 is there, we have to look at the table value of D1 and we have to find the D2 value, and so on. We have to start calculating. So table value, if I have to find 0.76, it would have been 0.7 and going up to 6. That is here. So you get 0.2764. So this is how you will have to find the table value, and you will get ND1. You have to find D2 value and find ND2 and put it in the formula to find the value of a call option. They have asked you to calculate the values of call and put options both. So both the values it can be found out. Maybe in the next video, I'll complete this particular problem. By then you can maybe try the answer, and when we upload the next video, you can check whether you're getting the right answer. I hope it's clear. There are no doubts. I have also pasted the table in the video here at the end. This is nothing, the normal distribution table that I'm using. So if you see here, a normal distribution graph is also drawn. Areas under standard normal probability distribution. You actually get the normal distribution values positive and negative both. I'm not going into that. If we get negative, we have to just do 0.5 minus, and if we get positive, we have to do 0.5 plus. That's an easy way to understand. I hope it's clear.